Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, Vikings Vent Line every weekend here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and podcast feed. Hit the like button and subscribe button for daily Vikings entertainment. We're getting closer to Judd's camp notes from a Vikings training camp. Hell, we're only 2 months away from the season opener, too, so we're getting closer and closer. Vikings Vent Line, though, is a weekly show during the season. We bring on as many fans as possible immediately after the game to talk about what happened. And then during the offseason, I still like to bring in fans to talk about the upcoming year, what they did in the draft, off-season grades, off-season moves. So if you have takes or thoughts on the Vikings, hit me up. I'll still be doing these for the next couple of months before the real thing starts. Once the season gets going, you can hit me up at vikingsventline@gmail.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen on YouTube. vikingsventline@gmail.com is the place to send an invite. Shoot me a note. Would love to have you on a future episode. Ventline is sponsored by our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. If you have HVAC problems, if you're not even sure if you've had just a maintenance look at that thing, let Standard take care of that. Don't be looking at TikTok or YouTube trying to DIY that stuff. Let them handle it. They'll make your life very easy. They're friendly. They're courteous. You can contact them however you'd like via phone, email, text message, doesn't matter. Go to standardheating.com. Tell them that Purple Daily sent you. We appreciate them powering Vikings Vent Line every single week. All right, let's get our guys in here. Let's get Reed and Drew in here on Vikings Vent Line. Usually when I'm getting people on, just like I said at the top, I get flagged from a bunch of fans that want to come on. Reed over here, who's been on Write That Down a few times, said, "Hey, I got a buddy. He wants to come on with me. Can you just make that happen?" So Drew is his buddy. It was his birthday present, a belated birthday present. So happy belated to you, Drew. So Reed and Drew, how long have you guys been friends? And are you guys usually watching Vikings games together? How did this Vikings fandom kind of start?
I mean, you can start that one, man. It's been a long time that we've been friends since we could toddle. So.
Oh, Reed, you're muted on your side. Reed, you just
big man.
Just got to unmute.
Muted over there.
You just got to unmute yourself.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, we've been friends. Gosh, when did we meet? When we were like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we grew up down literally down the street around the corner from each other. So we've known each other basically our entire lives, from youth football to different sports and stuff. Going to high school together, football. We Drew can tell you this too. We watch just about every game we possibly can together.
Yeah,
awesome.
As we can. We grew up in Rochester, and then he went to La Crosse for college, and I came up to the cities just to do work. So we've kind of had a few years here, where I'll go down to watch games with him, but now he's up in the cities, so hang out every weekend whenever a game's on.
That's awesome, guys. It's a pretty cool little story there. I love that. What's your guys' earliest Vikings memory? Do you remember?
I mean, these were my first socks as a child that I ever received. So I couldn't possibly tell you my first one because it was probably all of. Yeah, I've seen the Vikings since before I could even have thoughts. So
that's awesome, man. That's super cool.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, season coming up here. We've had the offseason that's played out. We got training camp knocking on the door. Drew, I'll start with you here, buddy. What is your hottest Vikings take? It could be off-season related, could be going into the year. What is your hottest take? We love to sling the hot takes here on Purple Daily. What's yours, man?
I'm going to try to keep it hot. I don't know, though, because this one might just annoy a couple of people. But, it starts lukewarm. We do not have a cornerback problem. I think we have one of the better cornerback rooms in the league. At least our top 4 is, the ones that we are really looking at to get minutes. But by the end of this season, I think we're all going to look at Mekhi Blackmon as being the CB1 or tied with whoever he's going at. It's a 3-way race, in my opinion, but we didn't get to see anything from him last year. The year that we did see him play, we were all a little bit iffy on Byron Murphy, and he bet on himself, got himself a contract. But Blackmon, he was, all PFF rookie team. He is positioned to really have it figured out this year. So that's my hot take. Mekhi Blackmon's going to be our CB1 by the end of the year.
Wow.
We got to think about it until then.
I like that a lot because, Byron Murphy, we were all pretty kind of sour and just kind of, we did the Jag episode, right? It was like, you just kind of just feel like a Jag. You just feel like a dude in it, and that's fine. You can make a living, but you certainly can't count on him. And Blackmon, who missed all last year, which was a big bummer, and when that injury happened, which was almost a year ago this time, a lot of Vikings fans, and I think even the Vikings themselves thought, oh, man, that thin position group just got even thinner. right? They bring in Gilmore, which kind of helps solidify some things. But Blackman's still young, man. It's just his second full season that's coming up here. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Okay, so he is 26. I think he played a good amount of college ball.
Yeah,
but
they're all right there, 26, 27. I think Isaiah Rodgers is also 27. So, but PFS-wise, I think Rodgers is leading it, if not second behind Murphy. But the actual anyone with a high standout in a PFF category, Mekhi is the highest rated.
nice. I like that one. Okay, Reed, what do you got, man? What's your hottest take?
So I boiled over this one a little bit and kind of decided how I wanted to word it. And I think I've kind of decided it's going to be kind of on two parts. I'm going to stay on the defensive side as well. I think with the new additions of Hargrave and Allen, I really think this defensive line, in particular this pass rush under Brian Flores, is really going to turn it up a notch or two. So my hottest take is the Vikings will lead the league in sacks this year. They will have at least 4 people in the top 25 in sacks. And I think Dallas Turner is the one that leads all of them on the Vikings. I really think Dallas Turner is going to be a stud, man. We didn't get to see a ton of him last year just because he was behind Ginkel and Grenard and a lot of things to learn with the Brian Flores system. But I always like to go back and check out like player highlight tapes from the seasons and stuff. And it's not very long. It's like 2-3 minutes. But if you watch Dallas Turner's highlight tape, man, he flashes and he's got those kind of plays. This athleticism that he shows is insane. He really has a nose for getting after the guys with the ball. Like I really think we're going to see a huge step up from Dallas Turner and the defensive pass rush from a whole this year.
Yeah, both those names. Blackmon obviously was hurt last year, and Dallas Turner's played sparingly, but was blocked basically by Grenard and Van Ginkel, and even Pat Jones at time, who departed in free agency. So there's a runway there, and like a lot of Brian Flores has done a great job as the defensive coordinator, and I think every year it's kind of about making new adjustments and adding new personnel. Those are probably two guys that are really imperative to that defense being successful again next year. And he blitzes a ton. Does he cut down on some of those blitz rates because he has just more natural dudes that can get after the quarterback, so you don't have to sacrifice leaving someone open or leaving someone dry, because if that cornerback position doesn't live up to potential, that could be problems. I like both those. So Blackmon being the number one cornerback, and then Dallas Turner, I think, popping up here. I think a lot of people are very optimistic, even though he didn't play a lot last year. There was a lot to be proud of, right? It wasn't just like it wasn't like the Lewis Seen situation where he breaks his leg and everyone's like, oh, but he's going to bounce back in year 2. I think with Dallas Turner, although being traded up for and they paid a pretty penny for it, I think people are still very optimistic. He didn't see the field a ton, but that might be all right because now he has an opportunity to go and ball out. So I like that one.
Yeah, but the play I look to specifically is, if you remember from like towards the end of the year against the Cowboys, he's going up against their right tackle. He basically does this like little like drop dip move where he literally like goes down, like skids for like half a yard on his shins, pops back up and makes a tackle. It's like that's one of the most athletic sacks I've ever seen. And it's like he just looks so smooth and fluid in how he moves, and I'm really excited to see the athleticism really kind of get to show in this defense, especially with how Flores can use them in different ways.
Heck yeah, I like that. What happens to you for you guys if JJ McCarthy does struggle in this first year? A lot of people are trying to project what's he going to be. Does he just have to kind of manage the game? He's got some great weapons. He has a great head coach. The offensive line looks like it's repaired. But if there are struggles, Drew, what do you kind of look at? Is that just, hey, it's all good, it's his first year as a starter? I guess we also probably have to define struggles, right? Like, does the team struggle, or is his struggles like holding the team back? A lot of this goes into it. But I guess what happens to you, or how do you look at this team if JJ McCarthy maybe doesn't live up to his potential?
To me, it really depends on the level of struggle, right? So if it's like Sam Darnold's level of struggle, where he has these 5 to 7 game stretches where he is lights out and playing really well, even a 3 to 4 game stretch, I'd be happy with. But if we're only seeing flashes of good games from him and more consistent negative play, we're in a position now where the team around him is so solid that he's almost expected to do at least decently. I think his ceiling is Jaden McDaniels last year. Or Jaden Daniels.
McDaniels. Basketball player, Daniels, football player.
Sorry,
I do it all the time.
I watched too many Wolves games this year. And the Jadens, the Jalens, the Jadens. There's too many, but
they all blend together.
regardless, I think if that's his ceiling, and his floor is looking more like his floor could be a Mac Jones, if we're being honest. And if he's playing like a Mac Jones, I think we all kind of have a moment to be like, what are we doing here? But I think you still need 2 seasons to really get a look at what's going on here.
Yeah, Mac Jones' rookie year was fine, right? Like, he wasn't a problem. That Patriots team made the playoffs. They were one and done. They got whooped in the wild card round. But and basically, like, Mac Jones is now a backup, kind of in like the Sam Darnold territory of can he get another starting job if he goes through other teams' rehab schools? Yep. But he was a pretty solid rookie, and yeah, you're probably right. Unless he just goes full Jaden Daniels or Patrick Mahomes, with his rookie year or first year starting. We're really not going to know for a bit, but I think that's why, the patience level is so important here. That's what we were talking about on Purple Daily this week of if he struggles, okay, look at the context of why he is struggling or how he is struggling, and then can he still remain patient? Because Sam Darnold took, year 6 to be a successful starter because the Jets failed him, and he bounced around a little bit and then was able to at least get a big contract. So McCarthy, I think, is insulated here. He's not asking to be a savior of the franchise. That's all good stuff. Reed, how about you, though? What is your kind of overall expectations for McCarthy this year?
See, I am not going to pretend like I know what I'm looking at when it comes to quarterback. Like, I like to think I know what a good quarterback looks like, what a bad quarterback looks like, but I'm not KOC. And so at the end of the day, I trust that KOC knows what he's looking at. And it's one of those things that, like, I don't want to, I'm not the type of person that wants to, like, buy into the hype too much until I kind of see it. But every interview you see, every person that talks about him has nothing but glowing reviews and just these great things to say about JJ McCarthy as a person, as a leader, as just like a galvanizer of men, which you guys have talked about on your show before. That it factor is hard. Walking into a room as a 21-year-old guy telling a bunch of grown professionals, hey, follow my lead, is not something everyone has the cojones to do. I think all we need to define struggle a little bit. If he's an average quarterback, I still think with the roster we have, make a playoff push. I think if he ends up being bottom third of the lead or something like that, I guess I want to know the context behind it. Is it situational? Is it the game's too fast and he needs to learn it a little bit more? Is he just missing throws? Does he not have the tools that he needs? I really kind of want to see how it plays out and see where those moments of excellence and those detriments kind of show up. And then are those things that can be fixed? Are those things that KOC is confident that he can develop or move out of him? So I guess I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to give it a couple of years here because this is kind of what we've been asking for the longest time. Get off Kirk Cousins, the expensive, overpaid, middle-of-the-road quarterback. Get a young, exciting, upside, young rookie quarterback in here, and let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Can't complain about getting what you wanted and not working out how you wanted it to. So either way, I'm cool with the ride and just kind of want to see how it plays out. I got faith, though. I got faith in KOC.
Yeah, he's set up for success, which is pretty big. And he's the quarterback, kind of whisperer here. He kills a lot of the bad quarterback vibes and guys that wouldn't fit the system. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, this is probably, I know they drafted Teddy and Teddy's knee exploded. Christian Ponder was a huge bust, but this is probably the most optimistic and excited I think Vikings fan have been about a quarterback prospect since, Dante, which, I love that. Drew got the Dante jersey on. Hell yeah.
I want to talk about quarterbacks. This was
Brad Johnson.
That was my first quarterback I ever watched was Brad Johnson in purple.
Yeah, dude, those are awesome. I love both those. So yeah, it should be super exciting getting to watch him this year and seeing how it develops. And yeah, look, we're going to be reactionary. It's the nature of the NFL. Hell, it's the nature of this podcast at times. So we're going to be super excited about it. Drew, what excites you the most about this Vikings team this year? Oh, Drew, you're muted. All good.
Thank you. I was doing my best to make sure I wasn't echoing. Finally finding the key to KOC's favorite 2 words, just situational football. That is a good offensive line. The one thing that we have absolutely struggled with since KOC's gotten here is having something that consistently protect the quarterback and play the plays that he wants to do. They always get blown up by something that you can't control because the offensive line isn't as good as we need them to be. Now that we have Will Fries and what's our new center's name?
Ryan Kelly.
Yep. I didn't want to mess it up. So now that we have them tandemed, especially with their time over at the Colts, I think we have an absolute perfect situation. And with Mason, we can set up however we want to play a good run game and access the passing game, which is going to give JJ McCarthy time for days back there, which my favorite part, he doesn't need it. So I went to the Raiders game that he played in. I saw that in person. Incredible. Just an incredible athlete. And like the way that he maneuvered that pocket. And me and Reed over here, we also went to the Giants game in the playoffs where Kirk Cousins hit the beautiful check down. And
3 yards when you need 8.
Yeah. And that's seeing that and seeing where we're at now. I just think we're unlocking situational football with the aspect of what we added to our offense, starting with the offensive line, but it's also our rookie quarterback that's maneuverable, as well as our Jordan Mason coming in.
Yeah, dude, a lot of exciting things. They've made a lot of big additions up front, which is huge, and yeah, should trickle down to a more effective running game, which the Vikings have really lacked over the last few years. So another reason where JJ McCarthy doesn't have to be the savior, and they can have the training wheels on him essentially, and just don't crash the car, man. It's kind of I feel like the motto of his season. Don't crash the car.
That's all I can add.
Reed, how about you, dude? What are you excited about this year?
Well, not to be an echo for Drew here, but I also am really excited for this offensive line. I played offensive line when I was in football growing up and in high school and stuff, and I'm a bit like Booney, where when the ball goes away, I'm a little disappointed because I like to see what happens after the fact. I like to see how those kind of games are played. I will say it from a different perspective, though. Obviously, the interior offensive line is a huge impact. I really think that's going to be really helpful with how we succeed in short down situations. I think one of the things, if you look at some of like the premier running teams in this league, the Eagles, the Lions, the Ravens, they have guys that they can go out there. They need 2-3 yards. They can get you 2-3 yards. You're within the 5-yard line, need a touchdown. They can get you in there. We have gotten so used to the Alexander Madisons, the Brandon Powell tush pushes of like, what can we do to make it work where we just need 2-3 yards and we can go get it? And I think with the addition of Jordan Mason, I think the improvement of the interior offensive line is really going to help. But I also think that helps from a control the ball standpoint. It helps from kind of a demoralize your opponent's defense a little bit. When you go out there and you get the ball shoved down your throat and there's nothing you can do about it, it demoralizes you. It puts something into you that's hard. It's one of those things that like I think will really help JJ McCarthy. I think it will really help KOC to run the offense how he wants to run it. And I think it'll help Vikings fans from stop pulling their hair out from seeing Garrett Bradbury getting ran over every other play.
Yeah, I think we're all excited for a new center. You know, I hope he stays healthy, but
yeah, I love Bradbury for what he was. You know, he showed up and he had heart, but
a jag.
Yeah, a jag. There's a jag ceiling that once you hit that jag ceiling, you slowly fall. You know, he slowly fall.
He outlasted like Dakota Dozier, Elfline, Oli Udo, Drew Samia,
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, dude.
In the long run, he did great.
He definitely wasn't as bad as I think maybe even sometimes we or just fans probably were saying about him. But for years, if you wanted an upgrade there, you had to start with the center, and they just kind of ignored that for a while. And I mean, Kelly's battled some injuries, but if he stays healthy, it's going to be a massive upgrade, most likely.
As long as we don't see, I mean, Akeem Hicks is out now, but I mean, Akeem Hicks and Kenny Clark literally got contracts because they played Bradbury twice a year.
Yeah.
It was like in high school, we played this crappy team, and every year I'm like, all right, here we go, get the stuff to highlight tape a little bit.
Game.
Are the scouts here?
That's Kenny Clark and Akeem Hicks every time they saw Garrett Bradbury walk out in purple.
That's awesome. Drew, any other hot takes here on your chest? Any shout outs you'd love to give here on Vikings Vent Line? The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I mean, hot takes, I do tend to lay off them because most of my hot takes come in the form of me just being a delusional Vikings fan. So the Vikings fans wouldn't think they're hot takes. We would all agree. The one thing is, I will say this, and since I'm capable of doing this at the moment, Super Bowl within the next 3 years is what I'm feeling. We're going to throw it there, and I'm just going to do my own. I don't even need a soundboard.
Don't even need a soundbar. You're just waving the flag.
I got it. I got the flag.
Oh, dude, I love it.
Outside of that, shout-outs, I do have to give a couple real quick. First of all, obviously the parents for one more time, the socks. One more time.
That's awesome. You gotta give. I mean, if you have a kid someday, you got to give them those socks back, right?
That's what I'm saying, man. And I had a little Randy Moss beanie baby. It was my first beanie baby. It was incredible. But also my stepdad, OC, incredible Vikings fan as well. Reed here, first of all, for watching all the games with me. my good friend Levi, who was at a preseason game with us the year that we went out of the playoffs. And then I also run a clothing brand out of my living room called Thermal Vision. That's what this sewing machine is here right behind me.
Cool.
And I got one on
Very
this
sweet,
side
man.
too. So I just make clothes out of my living room and run it through Instagram, and that's how I make a living nowadays. So if anyone's curious, my brand's called Thermal Vision, like the superpower, with an underscore at the end. If you look that up on Instagram or on Google, Thermal Vision Clothing, pop right up. You'll see me. So
I love that. Reed, how about you, dude? What do you got? Last hot takes? Any shout outs here?
Not any hot takes. A couple shout outs, shout out to my parents. My dad, my grandpa, and I, every year we do this. We pick the Vikings schedule, and it's kind of funny. A few years, so it all started with COVID, and how it all went is we all like, all right, we'll put $10 at it, pick the season, whoever gets the most right wins the $10. My grandpa ended up winning it, and so like a month or two after the season, I come back from college and I come check it out, and I go over to his place. And once you know it, sitting smack dab in the middle of his living room table, he's got all 3 of our $10 bills framed with his record that he picked next to it. And so he's like, I just want to make sure everyone knows who won this year. So the very next year when I won it, he goes, oh, here's your $10. I said, no, I want that damn trophy. So now we got literally we got 3 framed $10 bills we pass around every year because whoever wins gets it. And it's kind of like a little family trophy. So they're the ones that got me into it. So big shout out to them. I wouldn't be the diehard Purple fan I am if it wasn't for those guys. Shout out my mom, shout out a couple friends. Drew, obviously, is, someone to watch the football games with. That's my brother right there. So always look forward to having him around. Shout out my buddy Noah. I got to shout out our friend Nolan. He's a Packers fan, but I told him to give him a shout out, so he forces him to listen to some Vikings talk for 20 minutes here. Other than that, it's my coworker Brett. He listens to this podcast too, so I'm sure he'll be psyched to hear his name popped up. But man, I'm just really excited to see this season. It's one of those that I think could really. I think the floor for us, like usual, is probably like 7-8 wins, but I really think there is some major upside to it.
Cool, man. I love that.
And then if it's okay, I do. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I got hit one more, then you hit one more. We'll tap it out. I just got to shout out Chris Hine for the book.
Oh yeah, the Ant book.
Phenomenal. I'm halfway through. Incredible read. Just throwing that out there for the friend of the show, Chris Hine.
That's right. Yeah, we interviewed him a few weeks ago to kind of talk about that book. It's pretty awesome that he was able to write all that type of stuff.
Right. And then Reed, go ahead.
Declan, I was curious. Could I potentially sneak in one? Write that down.
Yeah,
because I have one that I think I've thought about this because I've been listening to you guys since like COVID, so I've been on this for a few years, and I think it's funny every year. Judd will say something, and we'll say on the Purple Daily podcast, Judd will say at some point leading up to the season that this is the most excited, intrigued, whatever word he wants to use about a Viking season that he can remember. Judd has literally said every year that KOC has been the head coach.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I was this excited. Right. It was last year, Judley.
You're right. It was last year.
I got it. Okay.
He just can't watch this episode.
I can tell you.
He probably forget.
He doesn't. He's a busy man.
He'd forget. It's okay. At some point in the season, leading up to the season, he will say, "This is the most excited he's been about a Vikings season." That's awesome. Okay.
That's a good
we'll
one.
honor that. We'll honor that. We can absolutely honor it. That's hilarious.
Good movie.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate you two dudes coming on here.
Yeah, dude. Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, of course. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Again, if you want to come on a future episode. You got a buddy that you want to bring on Vikings Vent Line like these two guys did, you're more than welcome to do so. Hit me up. It's Vikings Vent Line. This is Purple Daily Vikings Entertainment, where we just want to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl before we die.
Woo.